So I'm finally ready to do my DIY project that I was telling you about in my one of my videos. And I'm making a little footstool. And this is a flower pot. So what I did was I have sprayed it. I sprayed it gray. This was when we were in California, so it's maybe a couple years ago now. And on the top, I don't know if you can see that, this is Velcro. So that when I'm ready, when I've completed the covering, I just have to press it on and then it can be removed. So that is step number 1. Step number 2. This is the fabric that I had chosen, and you know, this one is more striped, so it's probably easier to position. If you were choosing something that had you know, some kind of flower or whatnot, you would want to center it. So I have cut a piece of fabric 24 by 24 because that's the size I need. What you do is you would just measure, take your tape and measure all the way around, pull it fairly tight, and with a couple of inches left over. And then we move on to step 3. And now we're moving on to step 3. We want to pull the fabric fairly tight and staple it. Oh, there's a story behind the staple gun too. I have to tell you about that. And you probably want to do it, you know, a couple inches apart here. But the trick is that you do not go all the way around like this. What you would do is now pull the, and I forgot to tell you about this part. So this part here, I had my husband cut a piece of plywood, or maybe this is, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's plywood. And then I have a 2 or 3 inch piece of foam. And this batting, because it just gives it a nice smoother edge when you put the batting on. I spray glued the batting on and then sprayed the foam to the piece of wood. Now getting back to this, so you want to pull the fabric pretty tight directly across from where you had placed it earlier, or stapled it earlier. Because if you don't, then it's all loose and it looks horrible. So this is what I'm doing right now, is stapling this, and then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to work this side and this side. But I must tell you about the staple gun. So, as I was mentioning before, I couldn't find my husband's staple gun. Who knows where it is, if we even still have it. So I thought, okay, I'll go out and I'll buy one of my own. So I did. I was in Walmart the other day and I purchased this staple gun. I forget how much it cost. So I bring it home, put the staples in, and it doesn't work. The staples cannot be pushed far enough in, and now I can't even pull them out. So I had to go over to my neighbor's and borrow his staple gun. So it's another trip back to return the staple gun that I bought at Walmart. So as I said, what I'm going to do now is I am going to work on each, like the other side, and I'll be back. So what I've done right now is I've stapled the centers of the project, and as you can see, it's nice and tight across here and this way also. And when I was working on this corner right here, what I did, you can see here, is just fold the fabric in to go around the corner. And on the inside, I've cut off some of the surplus fabric so that, you know, it's not, you don't have this bulk on the end. And actually, I might go and trim some of this other surplus also. But I just wanted to show you how I'm working the corners. Which is my right, yeah, this is the gun I want to use. So for me, I have to press down on this because, you know, I'm not all that strong. And I want to have the fold in the same direction as what I did on this corner. Now, I guess you can't really see too well what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is there's excess fabric in here, so, which is just, you know, adding to the bulk. So I've got my pinking shears. Why do you use pinking shears? Or why did I use pinking shears? The reason is so that the edges don't fray. Although there's hardly any chance of them fraying on this project, just because whoops, let me fold this a little bit more this way, and like this, and I want to secure that on the corner so that it doesn't, I see I got a piece of both pieces of fabric there, which is what I wanted to do. And then the same with this. And then I can go ahead and staple in here. So that's what I'm doing with the corners, and I don't need this piece of fabric, and it's just going to make it lumpy, so I am going to remove it. Now I'll do the other two corners and then show you the finished product. And this is the final step to the little DIY project. So here's the cushion. And as you can see on the back, it's stapled all around. Make sure when you are, I did remove some of the fabric that was particularly on the corners because I want the corners to lay flat. When you're doing this, make sure that when you tuck the fabric, you're doing it in the same direction on both sides so that it does look even. And as I said, I have already placed the Velcro on the bottom of the pot. And the reason I did it this way is because if you place them on both, you know, this and the cushion part, it's really hard to get them lined up correctly. So this is the sticky part right now. So this is the important step here, is when you place it on, is you have to get it, you know, just the place that you want it, because pulling it off is really tricky. So that looks about right. Press that down. attached, and it will, trust me, it'll stay attached. When there's pressure on here, somebody could sit on it. It's an extra seat outside if somebody's over and you want to, you know, you don't have enough chairs. This is to sit on, and once you sit on it and there's pressure being applied to it on a regular basis, this is really stuck. I had to get my husband to unstick the previous covering that I had here because it was so attached. So I hope you've enjoyed this little DIY project. I have fun doing them. I love anything DIY, anything creative like that is just right up my alley. So we'll see what else we can get into, and thank you, Gary, for loaning me your stapler. I do appreciate it, and I'll be returning the one that I purchased. Till the next time.